The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
The Vancouver Canucks cannot stop winning, but are they a little bit fraudulent, okay? 5 goals on 16 shots last night. Are we rated on the parade? Are we really doing this, Kyle? Find out next year on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host here at Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks writer over at Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into the show, we got to thank you, yes, you, for tuning into Locked On Canucks. Is your team, no scratch that, your Canucks every day. Make sure you go subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Coming up on today's episode, we got to ask the hard question, okay? I don't know if we got up on the wrong side of the bet or what, but the Vancouver Canucks won again last night, scoring 5 goals on 16 shots against the Ottawa Senators. Are they a bit fraudulent? We're going to dive into that and do a very, very quick weekend preview because, hey, it's the long weekend, baby. You know, we want to get out of here. We want to get moving and grooving on a long weekend in November. But before we do that, let me introduce my co-host, Kyle Bowen. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, and I'm excited to have this conversation because it's not what it seems, okay? It's not what it seems. In fact, it's probably just going to be a bashing of the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers lost to the Sharks. The Canucks ruined the Edmonton Oilers, and I feel as if a big reason why there are some skeptics, I feel like a lot of them are coming from the East talking about PDO, look at their PDO, oh, this team's getting lucky, look at their PDO. It's like, dude, relax, okay? Watch the games. We're getting lucky, but I feel like we're only getting lucky because we're good. You get what I'm saying? And we'll get into that in a couple of minutes. I think also some people are not giving the Canucks enough credit because of the fact that we've beaten the Oilers 3 times. And going into the season, the Oilers were supposed to be that team, right? One of those teams. And now since they're the worst team in the league, that record seems a little different because of the fact that the Canucks have 4 wins against the Oilers and the San Jose Sharks. You get what I'm saying? Anyways, Beggsy.
I get what you're saying, man.
Do your thing. I know you got the fancy stats. Break it down because I don't even know what the hell PDO is. PDO, break it down.
Oh, man. Well, PDO is really a measure of luck. It combines your on-ice shooting percentage and your on-ice save percentage. And usually it's around 100. And maybe good teams are up at around like 102, 103. The Canucks right now have a PDO of 109, okay? With the on-ice shooting percentage of 14.1%, which leads the league, and an on-ice save percentage of 95.1%, which also leads the league. So, yes, your Vancouver Canucks have the best shooting percentage and the best save percentage in the NHL, which gives them, again, a PDO of 1.09, which, again, it's over a full season. Nothing's ever been close to that mark. The second team right now in the NHL is the Boston Bruins at 103.7, and then the Vegas Golden Knights at 103.6. So again, the top 3 teams in the NHL all have the best PDO. That's probably not a huge coincidence, but
dude,
again, you look at the Vancouver Canucks and the underlying numbers. I'll throw this to you, Kyle. You know, in terms of goals for, again, the Canucks have at even strength scored 36 goals, and they've only allowed 14. So that 36 goals for is tied for the league lead with the LA Kings in terms of even strength goals, and their 14 goals against is the lowest total in the NHL. So they're absolutely dominating on the goal count at even strength, but their expected goals for it ranks in the bottom 5th of the league. They have the 4th worst expected goals expected goals percentage in the NHL at 44.5%. So again, that's just the nerdy way of saying that, you know, based on, you know, scoring chances and all that at even strength, the Canucks are only expected to have a 44% goal share. So yeah, there's a huge discrepancy there. And it does mean the Canucks are bound to regress at some point. Now, are the Canucks fraudulent? I don't think so. And I'm going to tell you why. I think this team has elite finishers, and that's automatically going to boost. Some of that stuff's not going to show in the fantasy stats, right?
Yeah.
You know, JT Miller last night snipes it from the half wall. Pettersson, one-timer from the point. I mean, Brock Besser with another great shot. I mean, if these guys keep playing at this level, and even if they drop down a level and, you know, because right now, Miller, Hughes, and Pettersson are like 3 of the top 6 scorers in the NHL. That might not keep up, but, you know, based on the skill at the top of the Canucks lineup, I don't see this team being fraudulent.
No way. No way.
And again, as long as the goaltending holds up too, doesn't have to be league best, but I think it's going to be one of the top tandems in the league. So there are a number of reasons why I definitely don't think the Canucks are fraudulent. But yeah, they're not going to win 80% of their games. They're not going to have a PDO of 1.9, the 1.09 the whole season.
Dude, there shouldn't be so much of an emphasis on luck when connecting it with save percentage. I get where the rationale is coming from, but dude, we got good goaltending. And partially, you could again associate that with luck. Casey DeSmith, rock solid off the jump, right? This guy's looking like he's worth way more than a 5th-round pick. But at the same time, we got Thatcher Demko. He's one of the most talented goaltenders in the hockey world. That's not lucky. That's just the fact that the Canucks and Jim Benning did their thing, okay? They got that guy in between the pipes, and he's doing his thing. Yo, you brought up the fact that this team has elite talent at the top. Bro, I feel as if the season has been moving so quickly that we haven't really stopped and just kind of taken in how much high-end talent we actually have at the top. Because I don't think we talk enough about Kuzmenko, Mikheyev, and I guess we do talk about Besser a bit more this season. But Kuzmenko and Mikheyev, and Kuzmenko is just turning more and more into I wouldn't say like a two-way player, but he's definitely more involved in every facet of the game. And Mikheyev is just so smart. Definitely a player that Toronto should have not let go of. For real. He's too good at hockey. He's so cerebral. He's so smart. The Canucks have really good players, and that whole notion that they have elite players, it can't be understated, okay? Three players with 20-plus points. That's not a fluke. Pettersson, Hughes, and Miller. I know y'all in the East, again, been sleeping on the Canucks, rightfully so, because they've sucked. But those three, individually speaking, as teammates, they haven't been able to compile their superpowers and create this super team in the past. But right now, they're doing just that. The Canucks, they're a super team. They're a super team. Individually speaking, Quinn Hughes, Pettersson, and Miller, again, and now Demko, those guys have all shown in the last 3 or 4 years at times, and for guys like Miller and Pettersson and Hughes, consistently over the last couple of years, that they're some of the best players in hockey. Okay, I want to say this before we continue, because we forgot to say it during the recording, and it's pretty obvious, right? And people in the East may think this is not true, but it is the truth. There's another level to Elias Pettersson's game. He's leaving a little bit off the table. And it is what it is, because nobody can be perfect. But just remember, there's another level that we haven't seen yet, and that's gonna help with the PDO. It really is. Also, the Edmonton Oilers, gotta say this, they had 9,300 comments on a Reddit post talking about that Sharks game they played last night where they lost. 9,300 comments. Yo, the Oilers fans are sad, pissed, full of agony, and that is filling up my heart, okay? Merry Christmas. Let's get back to the show. That there's some of the best players in hockey. And now, again, they happen to not just be on the same winning team, they just happen to be doing the most. They're again, I don't know what happened in the summer, but I feel as if, I don't even think these guys hung out in the summer. Demko, Hughes, Pettersson, Miller, no way they did. They all live different lives, different parts of the world, doing their thing. But I think individually speaking, they just had this inner monologue with themselves that they were going to will this team to victories. And when all four of them are doing that, and then you throw in the DiGiuseppes, the Bessers, the Mikheyevs, the Pia Suitors, the Ian Coles, like everyone is just playing out of their minds right now. Oh, dude, Filip Hronek. We didn't bring up Filip Hronek when I'm talking about these elite players. Filip Hronek is so good at hockey. And if you think that he's being propped up by Quinn Hughes, whatever Eastern bias, dude, watch the games. I think there's been already 2 games or 3 games this season where I think Quinn Hughes has not been that good, where he hasn't been like perfect. But Filip Hronek has been perfect in those games. Yesterday, he was probably one of our best players.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we talk about the finishing ability on this team. You know, let's look at the top 30, even the top 32. If 32 team league, of the top 32 scorers in the league, 5 of them are Vancouver Canucks. You have Pettersson, you have Hughes, you have Miller. Those guys are 3 of your top 6. You have Besser in the top 20, and you have Hronek tied for or at 28th overall in the NHL right now in terms of points. So again, in a league where, theoretically in a parity-driven league, maybe one player from each team cracks the top 32 in scoring. The Canucks have 5 guys in the top 32 in scoring right now. So again, the finishing ability on this team is elite. And yeah, honestly, there's going to be games where they're going to run to a hot goalie. And I think Ottawa's biggest downfall this season is they don't have great goaltending.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be nights where you play guys like Jake Ottinger or Schuster can beat us, So it's not going to be easy going every night, but man, oh man, I just think there's too much finishing ability for this team to really be fraudulent.
Dude, the Canucks aren't frauds. They're stacked. I'm going to say it again. The Canucks they're not frauds. They're stacked. I'm going to say it for a third time. The Canucks are not frauds. They're actually stacked. They're stacked. They've compiled their superpowers and they're doing incredible things. And as a sports fan, it's really good to see your team win in all different ways. And it's early in the season, right? We just talked about the Edmonton Oilers being the real frauds and maybe not a good team. And again, the Canucks have picked up 6 points against them. Look, this team, again, short season, has played really well against the Rangers and the Dallas Stars. They have.
Yeah.
Like, incredible games.
Yeah,
like, solid, top-heavy, elite style of hockey games were played against those two prominent teams. The Canucks are not frauds. They're stacked. You know who else is helping this team be stacked? Dude, it's your favorite player. The reason why you wake up every morning, the reason why you believe that you still have a chance in this thing called your life, Trevor, it's PDG. How impressive is this dude, man?
Yeah, PDG, such a fantastic and surprising fit on the Canucks de facto top line there. And maybe I'll pump PDG's tires on the other side here on a quicker episode here of Locked On Canucks. Talk a little PDG and one other guy who I thought's really stepped up recently. And we'll do a very quick weekend preview as the Canucks play the Leafs and the Habs this weekend. Before I do that, if you run a solo small business, you're an army of one, but you still need a CPA, bookkeeper, separate payroll solution, and more. Let Collective take care of the paperwork while you take care of business. Collective is the #1 financial solution for freelancers, contractors, and self-employed entrepreneurs that lets you focus on your passion, not your paperwork. Collective knows that if you're a business of one and you make over $80,000 a year, you will find the most value from their services. Join the thousands of solopreneurs who have saved an average of $10,000 per year on taxes with their structure. Right now, Collective is offering 1 month free and no onboarding fee when you go to collective.com/LockedOnNHL and tell them Locked On NHL sent you. That's a $550 value for free when you go to collective.com/LockedOnNHL and tell them Locked On NHL sent you. That's collective.com/LockedOnNHL and tell them that Locked On NHL sent you. I also got to let you know, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world today, and it's important to be prepared. You know, if I'm out camping in the wilderness with my family, I'm already planning the road trips in 2024, baby, being in the great outdoors.
Okay.
And you know what? I want to be prepared in case of an emergency. That's why I use the Jace case. The Jace case is a personalized emergency medication kit that contains 5 essential antibiotics that treat the most common and deadly bacterial infections. You can also customize your case and add additional life-saving medications based on your unique needs. Jace Case now offers customizability for your Jace Case with dozens of add-on medications. Choose the medications that best fit you and your family's unique needs. And hey, health is wealth, baby. And if you want to spread the health and the wealth, you can buy a Jace gift card for your family or your loved ones so that they can get a Jace case of your own. So go to jacemedical.com and enter code LOCKEDON at checkout for a $20 discount on your order. That's promo code LOCKEDON at jasemedical.com.
Okay, you're back on another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name's Kyle Bowen. That is Trevor Beggs. More importantly, though, this is the show that gives you your Canucks every day. Hit the like button and the subscribe button if you did enjoy the show. And if you didn't, don't do it. I know we are all Canucks, but don't lie to yourself, okay? If you didn't watch or if you didn't enjoy the show and you didn't like it, don't do it again. Don't lie to yourself. Save the world with one less lie at a time. Man, oh man, you know who saved us yesterday? Or we're going to get right into it. Again, another quick episode, okay? We got to do this quickly. It's not the holidays, but it's a long weekend, and we got things to do, okay? You know who saved us yesterday? And I truly do believe this. It's PDG.
Yeah.
That play he made in the third period, shout out to Ian Cole too, but the way that PDG received that puck in the neutral zone, he crosses the blue line, he slows down the game. It's something that I didn't know he was capable of. He feeds it to JT Miller, and Miller, man. JT Miller. I mean, I don't know if this is... If it's fair to say, but is he the new most underrated player in hockey? Maybe.
Honestly, I still think JT Miller's underrated in this market with all the flack the guy's gotten over the years, but just an incredible hockey player. But yeah, on PDG, I mean, I just think he's clicking so well on that line, right? And I was skeptical of that line going into the season, and they've just hit the ground running, putting up points, playing against the other team's best players. And there's just so many things working with this team right now. And, another guy who I wasn't sold playing with Pettersson and Kuzmenko, I thought he was the safe option. I'm coming clean right now.
Come
Is
clean.
Ilya Mikheyev. And man, oh man, we're seeing the best version of Ilya Mikheyev in Vancouver right now. A couple more bingos last night. He looks speedier. He looks more dangerous. He looks confident with the puck. He looks, solid and reliable defensively. I mean, Mikheyev and PDG as complementary players in your top six have really, really worked right now. And again, going back to PDG in particular, you want to talk about value. This guy probably is the biggest value contract in the league, making the league minimum for this year and next season. And, so yeah, screw that PDO we talked about, man. The Canucks are getting some value, right? They're shooting above they're punching above their weight class. They're scoring more goals than the PDO says they should, than the fancy nerds say they should. And guess what? PDG is also performing way above expectations as well.
No, I love it, man. Again, he's somebody that has never given up, and I'm pretty sure he's 30 years old as well, or around that age. And yeah, he's you know how we used to hang up posters on a wall when we were younger? Naslin Bertuzzi, Roberto Luongo. They were in my bedroom for a long time, bro. A long time. Pretty much up until the age of 19 and 20, I had pictures of these sweaty men in my bedroom, okay? Dude, I may have to get a poster of PDG to keep the dream going because, bro, he didn't have to be here. I think he had multiple roadblocks in his way to keep this dream from not being a thing, and he's finally been given the longest leash ever, and it's a top six role in a prominent market, and he's playing with, again, one of the most underrated players in hockey in JT Miller, and I think JT Miller just loves PDG. I feel as if JT Miller is the one that vouches for him, Never take this guy off my line. He's such a cerebral, it's such an interesting thing to say, but now watching him play, he's cerebral in his own way because this guy doesn't have, peak athleticism. He's not the fastest player in the world, but I see the way he forechecks, and he's, hunting players down in his own pace, and it's pretty incredible to watch, man. Rutherford said, right, if everything goes right, this team is making the playoffs. Okay, PDO aside, everything is going right. Everything is going perfect for this team right now, and I do feel as if going into the weekend, Toronto, Montreal, this team is going to keep the ball rolling. And I think it's a good thing that a guy like Pettersson, who said he played soft yesterday, Pettersson said that to himself. I played soft, not my best game. I think it's a good thing that the Vancouver Canucks, a great thing that they're finding different ways to win, A, and B, they're coming off one of their worst performances offensively yesterday. I know they scored 5 goals, but it was a boring game. That was one of the most boring games I've watched in a long time. And now they're going into Toronto, prime time. Everyone's talking about this PDO. Everyone's talking about, this team's getting lucky. I think they're going to show the hockey world tomorrow that they're going to be legit for the rest of the season.
I love that swagger, Kyle, and I tend to agree with you. I think good teams and good players will find motivation to perform. Right? It's as much as I hate this guy, it's the Tom Brady mentality, right? And he talked about that recently. Quinn Hughes, by the way, I was reading in the Athletic. Shout out to Thomas Drance in his article that Quinn Hughes was reading a book on the plane, and it had to do with athlete performance. So I know, Kyle, you're a big book guy. Check out All Week with Kyle Bowen. Kyle's other podcast network. He's got 28 shows, including What the You Reading? There we go. Kyle's reading right now. But yeah, so again, good players find a way to motivate themselves. And Kyle, I think you're right. All this talk about the Canucks being fraudulent, being lucky, they should use that as motivation to go prove otherwise. But you know what? Speaking of being lucky, they played the Ottawa Senators on their second night of a back-to-back last night. Now they play the Maple Leafs. They're going to play the Maple Leafs on the second night of a back-to-back on Saturday. The Maple Leafs host Calgary on Friday. Montreal on Sunday. The Canucks will be on a second night of back-to-backs. But the Canadians will also be on the second night of back-to-backs because they play Boston on Saturday. So schedule makers, for once, doing the Canucks some favors. And about damn time, man. This team travels further than any other team in the NHL. So, it's about damn time the schedule makers did some favors. One last thing I'll say about the weekend games. Phil DiGiuseppe, native of Ontario, actually a native of a neighborhood called Maple, Ontario, which is in Vaughan, just a suburb outside Toronto. I think Phil DiGiuseppe is going to get a bingo against the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's what I'm predicting there. So, the Canucks, they're going to lose a game at some point. I don't know if it's this weekend. I wouldn't be shocked. But I think, at least they're going to maybe prove the world wrong against the Toronto Maple Leafs in particular. That one would feel pretty nice.
Dude, you just told me that Quinn Hughes is reading books now. I put out that report. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just Kyle Bowen, okay? My connections are my connections, okay? If you know, you know, okay? I reported last year that Pettersson was reading books too. Look what happened. Boom, bam. Reading does fix everything. I also want to just note one more thing before I get out of here. A couple years ago, or I guess like a year and a half ago, or whatever it was, when Boudreau came in and Rutherford and Alvin also joined afterwards, Rutherford alluded to the fact that, the team was winning, but it was only because of Thatcher Demko. I heard this on the radio yesterday. I think Sat and Bick brought it up again. And that was just so alarming. Like, oh, wow. Like, I forgot that happened, We were winning a lot of games, and the people at the top are like, yeah, we're getting lucky. This is PDO. This is PDO. This is PDO. Whatever we're seeing right now, again, they're going to prove it tomorrow because it's going to be another quote-unquote great team, good team, Toronto Maple Leafs, blah, blah, blah. The Canucks are going to prove it tomorrow. Have fun tomorrow. Take some time off work if you're working on Saturday. Get home early. Make your favorite meal. Order your favorite chicken wings or, deep fried Brussels sprouts. It's 2023, whatever it is. And just enjoy your Saturday with your family, with your friends. I'm going to do that. Hey, maybe you'll hear me after the game too. You never know. You never know, right? It's Locked On Canucks. You're Canucks every day. And go Canucks go, man. We're all Canucks. We're all Canucks. The West Coast bias. Screw the rest. Champagne problems. Embrace the hate because it's coming. Because nobody wants to see us win. Nobody wants to see us win. Trevor, sign us out.
Amen, brother. The West Coast bias is alive and well, and your Vancouver Canucks, again, are one of the best teams in the entire NHL. Let's go. Speaking of that West Coast bias, the BC Lions as well play a playoff game Saturday. I'm stoked for Saturday afternoon, man. BC Lions, if they win, they make it to the Grey Cup. Canucks and Leafs, going to be a great Saturday. And then again, Canucks and Habs on Sunday. We got you covered with everything that happens over the weekend on Monday's episode of Locked On Canucks. We're going to bring out the Canucks GOATs of the week once again and talk everything about your Vancouver Canucks here on Locked On Canucks. But for now, I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Kyle Bowen. Have yourselves a damn good weekend, and we'll talk to you next time here on Locked On Canucks.